and I was so excited. And that just gave me this rush. It gave me energy and just that rush. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then I just started, I was consuming podcasts, mentorship, books, everything I could do to get better. I did it all. I didn't see my friends for a while. I would say my pitch before I went to sleep, in the shower, brushing my teeth, like walking to my car. It was constantly in my head.
Can I pause you right there? Mm-hmm. What you just said is what I try to preach to I've interviewed a lot of top performers, and I swear the common theme is I became obsessed with consuming content and just memorizing and consuming so that it becomes obsessive of like, why would I go watch, a Joe Rogan podcast when I could like study the university and read the manuals and watch the pit and memorize, it's like focusing so hard on like, I got to be the best at this. And this is a common trend. Hey everybody, this is Sam Taggart with the D2D podcast, and I'm excited about what's coming up in the pipe. So whenever you're listening to this, July 28th and 29th in Las Vegas, Nevada, we have our Closer School Live with Bradley, Jeremy Miner. We're doing a collaboration on an ultimate sales training event for 2 days. So go check that out, Closer School Live, LV for LasVegas.com, and get your tickets because it'll sell out quick. That'll be a very cool, big event. And also the Street Smarts is coming live here in June, which is a competition for youth and how they can go and start their own little door-to-door businesses where they go out there and they, paint curbs, mow lawns, whatever. We're doing some cool prizes, 10,000, 5,000 prizes for these like high school, middle school kids. So if you guys want to go get streetsmartsyouth.com, go check that out. If you want to send your high school kids or your friends, your nephews, whoever that is. And the last thing I announced before I dive into our special guest today is we have the National Knocking League starting this summer. So if you're in a team that you want to put yourself up against some of the best in the country, right now we're in the grit, and come summertime though, 5v5 tournament, solar roofing, pest control, alarms. So we're throwing like companies versus companies. And last year we had an epic success with the National Knocking League. So this will be our second annual league, and if you're interested in that, hit us up on Instagram and we can give you some details on submitting a team and what that looks like. So bringing on our special guest, we have Miss Chey Wisdom, full of wisdom, just chock full for our podcast. She is going to drop dimes of wisdom onto our little skulls today. She is 9 months into door-to-door, so this is going to be exciting. Not many times when I bring up not even 12 months veteran, like this is rookie, but she came out the gate swinging, never done sales, fresh rookie, guys. So if you're just getting into sales and you're like, hey, how do I be a top performer? This is going to be for you. She came from the events planning, marriage, wedding planning. And she's just like, I'm sick of like being some Bemmy girl planning this whole wedding stuff. This isn't for me. So she finds sales, and we'll get into it. And she's already had a month where she did 60, how many was it? 68, 62 alarms in a month, guys. That's a lot. Like for me, my best month, I think was 100. So like, that's pretty damn good. And she's already worked her way up to managing. She's just moving up the ranks in this door-to-door world. And so, tell us, welcome to the show. First off, Chey, like congrats for being on here. This is fun.
Yeah, thank you. A little fun fact. It has been in my New Year's resolution goals since 2018 to be a guest on a podcast. So today.
Is this your first?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Check that off, girl. I have my bucket list sitting right here. I'm always about checking stuff off. I just did one we won't get into it. It's more of a private bucket list check. We don't go there.
It goes year to year. I pass it on. And next year, I don't have to write it down anymore. I'm so excited.
2018. That's a long time coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You deserve to be on this podcast. Like, to be honest, I think there's a lot of people out there that I wish I could be interviewing. And I'm excited that we connected and we can make this happen. So
yeah.
First off, let's say your first week, I'm curious, you jump out of event planning and you jump into door-to-door sales. I'm just curious, like, what's going through your head? Is it common? Is this the different story than the normal, adult female out there that's like, oh, we're going to go knock doors. Yay. Or is it like, I guess I'm doing this. Tell me about it. Just tell me about it.
Yeah, so I had moved to Austin, Texas. My twin sister lives here, and I just wanted to be closer to her. I was originally in Kansas City, and I was doing wedding planning, and it was cool, it's great, whatever. But I moved to Austin, and it was in the middle of the pandemic. No one was getting married, and my passion.
Yeah, everybody's getting divorced during the pandemic. That's what happened to me. So we did the unmarriage thing. So.
Well, hey, if you ever get married again, give me a call. It's like riding a bike. So I was living in this big new city, and I was so excited, but my business just wasn't getting off the ground. I mean, literally no one knew who I was. It was the pandemic. No one was getting married. Everyone was panicking, whatever. So I just kind of hung out for 9 months. 9 months. I didn't have a job. I was
in Austin, Texas. I mean, that's a cool place.
Yeah, exactly. There's all kinds of fun stuff to do. I was with my sister, and soon after I moved here, one of my best friends came to visit, and the touch of Austin really grabbed a hold of her, and she was like, I'm going home to grab my stuff, and I'm moving to Texas. I'm moving to Austin with you. Like, let's do this. I was like, okay, cool. So she had done door-to-door before, and so she started right up. She found a door-to-door. She found a company, and she started with them, and I was like, she was telling me how much money she was making, and I was like, okay, I like money. I'm a people person. Like, what are you doing? And she was like, do you just want to try it out for the summer? And I was like, honestly, yeah, like, I'll try it out.
Well, and after 9 months of beating your head against the wall, saying I'm doing nothing with my life, that probably was appealing.
100%. Yes. I was like, I will do anything at this point. And so, I had booked a few weddings here and there, but it just wasn't enough. And I'd really lost a lot of passion for the wedding industry anyway. It wasn't fulfilling me in any way at all anymore. And so she orders me like an iPad and some Polos, and she sends me the pitch, and she's like, learn this by Monday. I'm like, okay, sounds good. So, on Monday, we hit the doors, and I was like, this is what you're doing? This is nuts. Tuesday, we had a meeting. It was a really inspiring meeting. I met my regional managers for the first time, my teammates, and I trained for 4 days. I never pitched in front of my friend who was training me, ever. And I remember she looks at me and she goes, okay, so next week. And I go, no, I got this. I'll figure it out. I got it. So on Monday,
bored at that point, you're like, do I still have to keep watching you? And I get overtrained? Like, I'm ready to roll, girl. Let's go.
So I got it. I'll figure it out. Even if I fall on my face, I'll learn a lesson, right? So the first week of June, I go out there by myself. I remember I closed my eyes and took a deep breath and just like knocked on the door really fast. I was so nervous. And I just biffed it all day. People were telling me, I think I cried. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And then I got my first deal, and it was like a 90 RMR. They got a bunch of cameras. I sell alarms, by the way. And I was so excited. And that just gave me this rush. It gave me energy and just that rush. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then I just started, I was consuming podcasts, mentorship, books, everything I could do to get better. I did it all. I didn't see my friends for a while. I would say my pitch before I went to sleep, in the shower, brushing my teeth, like walking to my car. It was constantly in my head.
And pause you right there. Mm-hmm. What you just said is what I try to preach to I've interviewed a lot of top performers, and I swear the common theme is I became obsessed with consuming content and just memorizing and consuming so that it becomes obsessive of like, why would I go watch, a Joe Rogan podcast when I could, like, study the university and read the manuals and watch the pit and memorize, like, you know, it's like focusing so hard on like, I got to be the best at this. And this is a common trend. So if you're listening to this and you're a rookie and you don't think it's important to watch the videos, like, I mean, Skyline has our platform. I'm sure you watch some of my dumb videos, but I mean, hopefully my voice did not get too annoying. But you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's guys, point proven. Okay, keep going. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're totally fine. And that's the thing is, you know, I just dove head first and I didn't look back. And you know, they say about like burning the ships. I had nothing to go back to. Yeah. And I looked at, you know, the money, the growth, the opportunity, the connections, the networking. And I was like, why would I waste this opportunity? It's like being lazy, you're wasting your opportunity. Working 2 or 3 days for a couple hours a week, you're wasting the opportunity. So I was like, I want to make the most out of this opportunity. So I just became obsessed with it, you know, and 5 weeks in, I broke a regional record. Our highest RMR at the time was 817. And I had been selling alarms for 5 weeks and I hit an RMR of 1,030.
Wow. In a week.
Yeah. I like crushed it. Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
It was awesome.
That's like some serious props, girl.
Yeah. And it was never like, okay, I worked 4 hours today, time to go home. Or okay, the sun went down, time to go home. Like, I was the first one on the doors, the last one on the doors, always. Like, you just have to put in the hours and be consistent. And from that point forward, I was like, okay, I can roll with the big guys in my region. Like, I don't have to be like that, you know, new girl anymore. Like, I can do this. And so I like remained at the top of my region for the remainder of the summer. And yeah, it was, oh man, it was so fun, but I never stopped. Even now, I just broke a record back in February. I sold 35 alarms in a week. And I actually broke my regional record, my regional manager. It was his record and I broke it.
35, hey, can I say something embarrassingly? Yeah. My best week ever was 29. So you can technically say you smashed Sam Taggart's weekly record. So I will chalk that one up. Like, good job. Like, that's impressive. 35 in a week, guys. Just like putting it in perspective, guys. I was the number one at Vivint. Like, 35 in a week's a big deal. So
it was pretty nuts. But you know, I had gotten to that point where, you know, they say that the top of one mountain is just the bottom of the next. Yeah. And I thought it wasn't like, oh, I broke this record, sweet, I'm a badass now, I can take my foot off the brake. It was like, okay, like, what else can I do? Nice. What other records can I break? And I'm really hungry. And I've been in the industry for 9 months. I know it's not a long time, but I still am reading.
Guys, 9 months in, I was like year 5. Like, it wasn't like, oh, my 9th month in. I was like, I've been doing this for 5 years. You think I'd be all right at this? Sorry, I'm so dumbfounded. I'm like, anyway, are you single? I'm sure there's a bunch of cute dudes listening to this now. Like, damn, I need a girl that just knows how to throw down. Anyway, keep going.
That's so funny. I'm not single. I'm seeing someone who's also in sales. So it's so funny.
He's taking, guys. Just not even get out of it. Get your head out of together if you're listening to this. Keep going.
So, but yeah, it's because, you know, I found so much success in this because it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm good now. Cool. No. It was, you know, I feel confident in it now. People don't slam their doors in my face anymore because I go with a different level of vibration because I'm confident now. So I still read sales books. I still listen to the podcast. I'm still writing down my goals. I still practice my pitch. I have that pitch memorized. I can say it backwards, but I still do it.
What are some of the podcasts or sales books or things that if somebody's getting their face kicked in right now or they're new, what would be like your 1, 2, 3, do this, listen to this, here's your formula. You're an idiot if you don't do X, Y, Z.
Okay, awesome. So, as we all know, and this isn't even like directed towards sales, more like your mental. So there's a podcast by Rob Dial Jr. It's called The Mindset Mentor. there's a couple things I love about this. Number one, when we're on the doors, especially when you first start, it's rough, man. Like you don't know what to say. You're getting objections thrown at you and you're like, I don't know, man, I don't know. And people get mad, they talk, and so you have to keep your mind strong. You have to go in with the expectation that people are going to tell you no, people are going to be rude, people, and so you have to have this really strong mindset. So even though the Mindset Mentor podcast isn't directly about sales, it is about keeping your mental health really strong. And they're like 20-minute episodes. That's it. So it's not super time consuming. It's just very inspiring. And you have to have a strong mind if you're going to do this. When I first started, I was getting rejected and it like consumed me. And then I was like, okay, I have the expectation I'm going to get told no. Cool. Move on. Next door. Not a big deal. And once you get to that point, like you're good. And then also the Door Knocker podcast. I love that podcast. I was actually on the doors my first week by myself, and I heard the episode with Casey Baugh. I look up to Casey Baugh so much. I just love the way he lives his life. He's just a good person. And I felt like such a big baby because I was crying because someone had just yelled at me. And in his podcast episode, he's like, oh man, I was crying on the doors first summer, and anyway, so you just hear stories from like these heavy hitter vets on that podcast. I really enjoy that too. And then books in terms of sales. So I really liked, it was called Winning by Tim Grover. That was an incredible book for me to read. I actually read it directly after I broke the record at my previous company last summer. And it was crazy because I needed it in that moment because, here's the thing, you have a big week in sales and then what do people do? They take off, they go chill, they spend their paycheck, then they're hustle bustling to make that money back the next week. And so after I broke that record, it was the biggest paycheck I've ever seen in my entire life. I couldn't believe it. I was looking at it. And the next Monday I was on the doors and it was because of this book. And it was like, when Kobe Bryant would make it to the championship or whatever, he didn't care because the scoreboard went back to zero the next year, the next game or whatever. And like, you have to, just because that game is over doesn't mean anything. It's just one game. So I learned that it was 1 week and you can reverse that. Even if you had a terrible week, it's just 1 week. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. So that book was really inspiring to me. And it's what really kept me inspired to keep knocking, keep going. Even, celebrate on Saturday or whatever, but, get yourself back on the doors on Monday. So.
Yeah. We should get Tim Grover back to DDDCon. He crushed a couple of years ago. He's a good
guy. I bet, man. He's awesome. I love him.
So let's talk about, you said when I'm out in the doors now, I have a different vibration, a different energy. Tell me about what's your energy like and how have you cultivated and protected that energy when you're out there getting your face kicked in a lot?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So just like with anything, like, I'm a big analogy person. So like, let's say like you're a little bit out of shape, never worked out in your entire life. When you walk into Lifetime Fitness, you're going to be intimidated. You're probably not going to have the best workout. Your head's going to be down. You're probably going to be meandering around the gym a little bit, right? But 6 months later, when you're ripped and you're fit and you have a regimen and you've stuck to it and you look amazing, you're going to scan your thing into the Lifetime. You're going to say, what's up to the door lady. You're going to throw your gym bag on the ground and just start pumping. Those two things have completely different energy to them, right? And so when I first hit the doors, I was just like, hey, my name is Chey. Hear about your alarm. I was freaking out. People are gonna read that. They're gonna feel that. And I didn't know what I was looking for. I was simply thinking about, don't mess up the pitch. Yeah. And I was terrified about what if they throw me an objection that I don't know how to answer. And so my energy was very low. I had no confidence. I was very intimidated by the customer. And now, and I walked away from a lot of deals that could have been deals, but I didn't know I was doing yet, right? And so now so first of all, I take good care of my body. I get the sleep, I take care of my mind, take care of my environment. I keep my car clean, I keep my room clean, like all these things to build a strong foundation to raise my energy level, reading books, consuming positivity. I unfollowed like a ton of meme pages on Instagram, and I followed a bunch of like money, mindset, growth, spirituality. I replaced that stuff. And so that all of those things really matter to keep your vibration high. But, when I go to the doors and I have this confidence now where if you throw an objection at me, I absolutely know how to handle it. I'm not scared to knock on your door. I'm not scared to ring the doorbell 3 times. If you want to you want to talk, we can have a conversation. And so I now, instead of trying to sell the customer and like begging God for a deal, I'm just I'm being myself. This is what I'm here for, and having a conversation with the customer and, leaving their home, knowing that I protected their family, their home, and we're buddies now. So it's completely different, it's confidence. And the only way to get confidence is to do something consistently. The key to anything in life is consistency. You go to the Lifetime Fitness twice a week for 6 months, well, you're probably gonna look the same. You hit the doors a couple times a week. You spend all weekend not studying or not looking at the pitch or not consulting with your mentors. Well, your sales skills are probably going to be about the same as they were when you first started,
For sure. No, I could not agree more. And I think so many people assume it's their word track or something like that that's going to be the difference between selling and not selling. And they underestimate that untangible, the energy that's transmitted just due to your confidence when you walk up to that door of kind of like, just gonna get another deal now. It's like, you're my customer, done. This is a lay down. And like when somebody's shadowing me, they're like, how'd you know? I'm like, because I read into their energy. They saw my energy quickly and it was like instant rapport and we're done. Like,
yep.
And I think a lot of times we forget that piece of training. And like you said, consistency creates confidence. I like that. I think, the consumption of continual education creates confidence. So I think people underestimate the power of that energy transmission in a sales environment. So I'm sure you got a lot of mud when you first started knocking doors. How did your family or friend groups kind of receive it? Like, what was you're going to do what? Like, I'm curious, like, and maybe being a female, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that, like, I'm trying to empower, like, there's a lot of people that are like, maybe this isn't really cut out for me. Maybe I should go be an esthetician or whatever and be the like whatever that is. It's like, I was a wedding planner. So yeah, you're a wedding planner. You're like, fit the mold. You're cool. Like, I'm just saying, like, give some shout out to the females out there that are out slaying. Like, but I'm curious that response and kind of maybe the mud that was thrown. Was there any? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, 9 months in, my grandma calls me about every other week. Are you still knocking doors? And I say, yes, Grandma. And she just freaks out, she's terrified that I'm going to people's homes and stuff. My parents were just kind of like, well, I hope that works out for you. No one really understood what the heck I was doing. They didn't get it. Cause I was always like the cutesy, girly, blonde, like wedding planner, wearing heels and slacks to work. And, and then I became like this, like, I was like, I'm going to go do sales door to door. And they were
You're
like,
one of the sweet bros.
Yeah.
I'm just messing.
And they were like, my family was like, I don't know if they had a lot of confidence in me. Now looking back, I'm like, they were probably like, oh, well, she'll call us back in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just hope for the best. And, I give my parents like recaps when I have like a really awesome week or month or whatever. And they're like, well, this actually worked out. This is crazy. So, yeah, there was like safety concern, but they got over that. And they see, they reap the benefits of my success too, like I'm gonna be there for my family. You know, I don't just make this money to like head down to Lululemon every Friday. Like I want to take care of my family and take care of my people. So
that's cool. So what drives you on like a down day, or like what's like your why, or what motivates you to continue to hit new heights and climb new mountains?
absolutely. Yeah. Well, first of all, the opportunity. I've never been in a position to make money like this at such a rate that we do. So, you know, I want to, you know, my upbringing was very interesting. You know, like we just didn't have a lot of money, and that's fine. I mean, my parents did the best that they could, and I'm so thankful for them. But I know growing up in that situation, my life could have been a little easier. My parents had been, you know, a little more responsible with their finances. And, you know, again, they've really worked on that, and they are in a much better place than they were when I was a kid. But it sounds kind of weird to say, but something that really drives me are my future children. Don't even have them. It will be years from now, but I want them to have the best freaking life. And I don't want to think about money. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to stress about it. And I also love unlocking new doors in my soul. I am doing things now that I never thought I would be capable of. And so I love seeing myself unleash my potential. It's so much fun. It's so fun. So like that keeps me going too. You know, when I'm having a day and it's July and I'm hot and I've been out there for hours and I don't want to go anymore. I'm like, okay, well, you're in a shitty mindset. Let's see what you can do with it. Are you going to go home? How would that make you feel? Or are you going to keep going? And then you get a deal and you feel much better, you know? So the things that keep me going is I love challenging my brain. I love setting up my future family. I love the fact that I'm going to, you know, take care of my family, anything that they need. I mean, I'll be able to help you. And, you know, and I also have never, ever wanted to be, you know, a breadwinner's wife. That's not for me. I want to be right up there, like with my husband. We're both bringing bread to the table. We're both contributing. I think that that's really inspiring too, especially as a woman. It's exciting to be able to contribute, you know. We've come a long way since like the 50s. So, you know, so yeah, it's really like my future and this opportunity that I have. I mean, a lot of people are, you know, sitting at a desk and they get their salary and they go home and they go back to their desk. And so I'm so thankful for the opportunity and what it can do for my life that it just really keeps me going. So you have to have a why. This door to door is hard.
Yeah,
man, it's tough. It's hot, it's cold, you get yelled at, you get told, it's up and down and emotional, and it's tough. So if you're going to be doing this job that's hard, why on earth would you not know why you're doing it? You have to, you know.
So true. And it was cool how you just were able to respond to that so quickly. Sometimes I ask that question to the average Joe, and I swear it takes them a second to respond. They're like, oh, I want to make a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, but like, why? Like, you're going to make average money if you don't really have a reason to make more than average money. Like, and so I inspire or ask or challenge or whatever to think differently to then get different results. And so let's kind of wrap up with this. And this has been, honestly, Chey, this has been a blessing, awesome opportunity for me to even be able to interview you. What a great value add to the society of the tribe. You know, one of our own. And so I guess any crazy stories? Do you have any, like, I feel like there's gotta be, see, there we go. I knew I struck, see, immediately. Don't hold back. Like, this is not like a censored thing. Like, you tried to censor the word shit, but it's okay. You could go into the deep of the story. I see your face. And I feel like there's one that's pending.
Can it just be like a wild, crazy sales story?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like the wild.
That's what you want.
That's okay. What I want. I want this thing to get like juicy on me.
Okay. It's so funny, Sam. Okay. So I'm in Dayton, Texas. And I have been to this house. This is the week that I hit 1,030 RMR. Okay. So that matters to the story. Okay. So I have been to these people's house every day. And every day I pull up and they have these 5 dogs. One of them is a pit bull. And I'm like, I'm terrified of this dog. So it's Friday evening and I'm like, forget it. All their cars are there. I'm going to this house. I'm doing it. I don't care. So I take a deep breath. I get out of my car. Nicest pit bull ever. It's very sweet.
Yeah, they're
no
nice.
problem.
The Chihuahuas you gotta watch out for.
Yeah, they had 5 dogs and they all came running up to me. I'll just give you all the details. They smelled terrible. It was a pretty gross like situation, but I was like, whatever, I'm going. So I walk up to the fence and I hear them like splashing around in the pool. And I knock on the fence and I look up because I heard something, and on the top of the fence is this little monkey. Okay. Oh, this gets wild. Okay. So I'm like, is that? And they're like, hey, come on in. I'm like, okay. So the monkey is on a leash. So I walk in, it hops down, but I'm far away from it. These people are completely naked in their pool, in their backyard. This couple.
Oh, come on in. Naked couple in the pool with our monkey. Oh my God. This is amazing. I'm so glad I asked the question.
It's the story. It's unbeatable. So they get out and they're putting their towels on, but I've seen it. I've seen everything, what can we do you for? And I'm like, well, hey, my name's Chey. I'm here about your alarm system, as I'm pitching them, they tell me, watch out for him. He'll bite. I thought they were talking about the dogs. The dogs were to my right, the monkeys to my left. So I thought they were talking about the dogs that might bite me. So I take a step to the left. Oh, that monkey crawled up my leg, took a chunk out of my knee. Like, I'm bleeding. It was so painful. This monkey, she was like, no, I was talking about the monkey. I'm like, yeah, I see that now, Sharon. So now she like puts the monkey like on her another leash. It's shorter. So all of these smelly dogs on me. I just saw this couple butt naked. Their monkey just attacked my leg. And I'm like, I better get a freaking sale out of this. So they're down. They like the pitch. They like the price, yada, yada. I go to sign them up. They both fail credit.
Of course, anybody with a Hummer and a monkey should fail credit. Like
literally. And so I go, all right, listen, guys, here's what I can do. I can give you the equipment for 50%. The only thing is that you have to buy it outright right now. It's $650. Your monkey just bit me. I've been here for an hour. Like, what are we gonna do? And they're like, well, our cell phone bill is due this week. And I go, call AT&T and have them move your bill till next week. If you do that, can you buy the alarm? And they were like, yeah. So they call their cell phone bill. They move it to next week. They buy the alarm outright.
Forceful. Yes.
They call AT&T or AT&T. They move their phone bill. They buy the alarm outright because so the way that the tiers work, because I had to discount the panel, I only made 30 RMR off of that deal. It was a terrible deal, but it was.
Got the story out of it.
I got the story and
out of this.
Yeah. And I got the deal and I ended the week with 1,030 RMR.
That was your last deal. Oh my gosh. Finished out the week. Hail Mary, monkey story. What's up? Welcome to the streets, everybody. If you have knocked doors, you know what we're talking about. True non-door-to-door people don't know what we're talking about. I'm excited in your first 9 months, you've gotten a monkey story. It took me till year 3 to get my monkey story. So it's really cool.
It was wild. And I'm honestly, I was in this bite scratch. I don't really know what happened.
You better take me a picture of the scar. Like 100%. Everybody in the tribe is like, oh, have you ever had a dog bite? And then I had like 75 comments on the Facebook group. You know what I mean? And like,
Yep.
you probably can say like, oh, anybody had a monkey bite?
I'll text you the video. I just so happened to be recording when it ran up my leg. So I have a full-blown video.
You got to post that in the DDD Tribe Facebook group because that is hilarious. And that'll get a lot of hits. Anyway.
I will take the low RMR for the story. I'm honestly thankful for the story because it's just so crazy. So.
Oh, there you had it, guys. Firsthand. You heard it from Miss Wisdom over here, dropping some dimes. I told you guys this is going to be lit. So thank you, Chey, for coming on the show. This has been an amazing episode. Guys, if you got some value out of this, leave a comment, maybe a review on the podcast, share this with a friend, and tag any female knockers or any new knockers out there that need some inspiration. Maybe share this episode with them so they can get some fire lit under them and some good recommendations on how they can keep their days going in the tough, hard knocking days. So anyway, thanks so much for being on the show, Chey. This was a pleasure. And we'll see you in the streets.
Of course, see you in the streets. Thank you so much.